In this episode of Structural Sense, we're going to talk about goals. What are they? How to set them? And if it goes really, really well, we might actually set one for ourselves. Don't go anywhere. Welcome, everybody, to episode 13 of Structural Sense. As always, I'm at Steve Sansford.
I'm at Ryan from work.
He's at Ryan from work. And today we're going to talk about goals. I don't think we've covered that on the show before, the importance of goals, how to set a good goal, tips for setting goals. If the conversation goes really well and Ryan's still on board with it, we're going to actually maybe set a goal. I didn't prep him for this in any way. He said, what are we going to shoot? 5 minutes ago, I said, hey, we're going to talk about goals because I've got one. And we're going to see how it plays out. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps us out a lot. Got some great upcoming videos you guys aren't going to want to miss. And hit that like button down below, too. That also helps us out a lot. So let's get into it.
Sure.
Goals. Goals are important.
They are.
Why?
Because if you don't have any, then you're not going to go anywhere.
Interesting
In
you should
all
say that.
honesty,
exactly
that's what
I
it
thought you would
is,
say.
right?
Because do you remember when we did the episode on our 5 favorite books?
Yeah.
And I talked about the 7 habits of highly effective people.
Mm-hmm.
And I said 6 of them I'd forgotten about. And I didn't care about 6 of them. Because there's only one that mattered. Mm-hmm. And that one was begin with the end in mind.
Yep.
Which to me is a goal. Right? Mm-hmm. We've been working out now for how long?
4 months?
4 months?
5?
I don't know where we're going.
4 months.
4 months, because I don't know what the end looks like.
Sure.
There's no goal attached to it. So what am I doing? You know, there's so much to be said about marrying the process, right? Divorce the results. Just focus on the process and see what happens.
Yep.
The process we figured out, I could do a little bit better at it, but I think the process we figured out, but we don't have a goal. So I thought maybe we could talk about what makes up a goal, and then maybe if this works, set a goal.
Sure.
Because I've decided if I'm going to keep doing this and putting more time into it, I need to know what it looks like at the end. What are we aiming for? So I have a couple of ideas. We're going to bounce some of them off here, and whichever one sticks, we're going to run with. We're going to make it into a SMART goal.
Okay. Yeah, that's
we'll talk about what a SMART goal means as we go on. So the first part of it is I need to have a purpose for what I'm doing here, besides being healthy or losing weight, getting more fit. That's all pretty standard stuff, but I want something to shoot for. So I've decided it's going to be some form of competition. Okay, you ready for this?
This has gotten interesting, guys.
You ready for this?
This has gotten interesting. All right,
Watch
continue.
Ryan's face very closely when I say this word because I know how much he hates it. Triathlon.
Okay.
He actually kept a straight face to that. I didn't think he would.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it, right?
That's not really the goal. I just wanted to see what his face was like when I actually said that. But he kept a straight face. I didn't think he'd be able to because we bounced an idea back and forth. It's always an idea I'd always thought it'd be cool, but it's kind of like asking a fish to climb a tree. Doesn't matter how smart that fish is or how dedicated that fish is. The fish is not going to climb the tree.
Well, I mean, luckily you're human, so...
The fish wasn't designed to climb the tree.
Yeah, because of that.
Okay? Try as hard as he wants, he's not going to get up that tree. I'm not a fish. Right? But is there some sport, some competition I can involve myself in that would play to my strengths?
For sure.
What do I mean by strengths? I'm 6.5 feet tall. I weigh 350 pounds with, as near as we can tell, somewhere between 235 and 245 pounds of lean muscle mass.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of potential there.
There is.
Is there a competition that I should look at that maybe I've had the idea before and haven't really got to that we could play to those strengths?
Yes.
What?
Strongman.
Let's do it.
Strongman competition.
Let's do it. Okay, so we have a goal. I'm going to compete in a strongman competition. Because it's going to be awesome. This is going to be great. You guys are really going to want to subscribe. I'm either going to die or this is going to be incredible.
This just happened, just so you guys know. I knew nothing
idea.
of this.
Sprung this
until
up.
Right now.
He's been hinting at it lately because we were trying to sort my diet out and everything seems to be counterproductive with it. Yeah. So we're just going to go the other way and see what happens. So.
Well, part of it too, I mean, is we have been playing with a lot of different numbers. We've been talking about what we want to do for your eating. So exactly like when it comes down to some of the stuff that we've shot already and some of the things that we've talked about in our previous episodes, you know, we've talked about taking your body and using it as a guinea pig, right? For everyone else, right? Like, take your body, use it as a guinea pig, and find out what it is your strengths are. So the last session that we had, we hinted at that. That's what we were talking about. Because we were talking about overall caloric intake, macros, and all the above. And the issue that we ran into was it's really hard for you to get too little in and hard for you to get too much in. So it's like one of those things where we want to go one way or the other. Yeah. Right.
We have to go to an extreme because this bouncing around it's not changing anything. Even if I cut down to 3,000 calories a day, 3 calories a day, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
What we haven't tried is going the other way and seeing what happens. That's part of the experiment. So we have I was going to say we have a goal. We don't have a goal. It is not a goal at this point.
No.
At this point, it's a dream.
Yeah.
Because there's no time frame attached to it.
No.
So it's not a goal. So to make it a goal, to make it a SMART goal, S-M-A-R-T, it's got to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and it has to have a time frame attached to it.
Yep.
So let's run through that. The goal, strongman competition. Is it specific? I want
Somewhat.
to compete in a strongman
Yep.
competition. I think that's pretty specific.
Yeah.
Right?
It will get more specific as we go measurable
Right.
and stuff.
So measurable. Is that a goal that we can measure?
We can measure
It's
it.
kind of like an
via-
A-B. It's either yes, it happened, or B, no, it didn't.
Yes, but it can
Right.
be micro measured via results.
Right. So once we have the entry requirements for the competition, we can work backwards and say that's what we have to get to. There's a measurable result. We can measure it along the way.
Mhm.
So is it attainable? Meaning, can it be done?
Yeah.
I think pretty obviously it can be done.
Mhm.
Here's the big one I think a lot of people have trouble with. Is it realistic? This goes hand in hand with time. But is it a realistic goal?
For you, yeah.
Yes.
You
Now,
have
I think
you have the proper genetics for
so
it.
far I have what has seemed to be the genetics, the structure to do it. But realism goes hand in hand with time frame. I'm not going to compete in September.
No.
No. So
No, this is
the time frame of September makes the goal unrealistic.
If
So
we're
we got to
thinking,
play those
yeah,
back and forth and work it out.
If we're being realistic about doing this, we're talking a year.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking a year of some good training.
Yeah. So in my mind, the earliest was a year from now, which is actually the end of the season next year.
Mhm.
So it's probably not going to be until the following spring.
Yeah. Year and a half.
So a year and a half. So
Sounds
summer
good.
of spring of 2019.
I think too, like we are making this a SMART goal for one.
We reserve the right to change and adjust this time frame as necessary.
No, the other thing too that I was gonna say is we got to do a little bit more research.
Yeah.
Research is important because we don't even know where. Like I don't even know where to compete in that, right? Where it goes on, categories as far as how the categories.
Most
are
of that I
ranked.
figured out. I just have to share it with you first.
So Steve's
I
clearly
did a
done his
bit of
homework.
homework.
Yeah. All right.
I did the homework originally when I was in exile on Manitoulin Island. Because there's no fitness facilities on Manitoulin Island. All I have is acres and
Yes.
acres of grass and dirt and hills and mountains and large rocks and trees and logs.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's got to be something here I can do. And that's when I happened to catch it on TV one night. I'm like, I have logs in the backyard. I have large tires I can carry.
Mhm.
Right? I kind of had the idea, so I started looking into it, and I just refreshed my memory half an hour before I sat down to film this podcast. So I'll pass it on to Brian, and
Sure.
we'll update
Yeah.
you guys as we go along. But I think now we have a SMART goal with the reserving the option to adjust the T as time goes by.
Mhm.
So now what does that goal do for our workouts? And I think for me, from my point of view, it gives me a focus. Right? It gives me something to reach for, a carrot at the end of the stick, I guess. We always had the stick.
Yeah.
We just didn't have a carrot,
We didn't
something
have a
I was
carrot,
striving for. Now that I can see that, when I'm in here, I can just remind myself that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm putting myself through this pain and suffering for. And that's why my back hurts the next day, is because I'm trying to chase that carrot. So there's obviously a lot more that's going to go into this project than just exercise.
Yes.
Rest is going to be key.
Yes.
I have to probably actually schedule my rest, something I just kind of sleep when I have free time.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot of us
Nutrition.
work. Nutrition is going to be
That's
huge.
going to be the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
You're going to be eating a lot of peanut butter.
I love peanut butter. I
Like-
will eat it with a spoon out
like
of
a
the jar.
spoon, yeah.
I will sit down and eat a jar of peanut butter. I'm okay with that.
Like we're going to Costco
I mean,
and you're buying.
Brian Shaw, his diet is 12,000.
Have you seen it?
Now, there's an article
It's
in Men's Health
ridiculous.
magazine. I will link it down in the video description. I'm reading through this man's diet. It's unbelievable.
Oh, it's
But
ridiculous.
once I got to meal 7 was 4 slices of cheesecake, I'm like, I'm sold. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I love cheesecake. That's just to get the calories up, because he's eating everything else he could possibly eat. Everything
Yeah,
that walks on the
for
earth
sure.
is already consumed.
Well, I was watching actually a documentary with him, and he was talking about his caloric intake, 12,000 calories
12,000
a
calories
day, and he was going through it, and it was a lot of. I think his dinner alone consisted of 3,000 calories.
3,400 in the article
Yeah.
in Men's Health.
And I was like, that's more than I eat in a day.
There's also a YouTube video apparently he did for another channel about his kind of the day in the life thing. I don't know if that's what you saw, but I got a link for that, and I'll put that down in the video description too. Go check it out. It's unbelievable that a human being can consume that level of food. So here's my question. Not that we're anywhere near that, but at 12,000 calories a day, what does his workout regimen look like?
A lot. Of
How
heavy
often is
lifting.
he in the gym?
A lot of heavy lifting. You know what? To be completely honest, I've never trained a strongman before, so I couldn't really tell you to be completely honest with all of you. But what I'm assuming is he trains very similar to what he does, right? So what it's going to consist of is a lot of compound movements, deadlift, squats, and bench, right? All the big primary movers, right? A lot of big compound movements.
You have some homework to do.
Yeah.
We both have homework to do. I'm going to take care of the nutrition stuff because I can figure that out. Eggs go in here. He's going to figure out the complicated stuff, like what kind of exercises I need to do.
But again, like,
that's a drastic oversimplification on the eggs.
No, but the good part about that is it's going to be as simple as it is for you to find nutrition as it is for me to find exercise.
It's all out there,
right?
Apparently this is a thing.
Not even just that. It's just the fact that I've been doing it for so long that I already understand what exactly you should be doing. Right? A lot of it is just breaking it down even further. Yeah. You know how I am. I'm very analytical about how I train. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's the only reason I let you train me. No, I think it's good, though. I've no doubt you'll be able to figure it out, be able to sort it out. But it gives us a project. It gives us a goal.
I had a feeling this was coming.
Yeah, so did I. As soon as you mentioned it a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I looked at that before. And funny, what reminded me of it was the 5x5s we've been doing.
Yeah.
Because when I first looked at it, I guess it was 2 years ago now, one of the things that all of the forums, all the companies recommended when we first getting started out, a 5x5 workout is one of the best ways to start to build up your strength.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest, easiest general workouts to do. On a side note, for anyone that is listening or watching, the biggest thing when it comes down to a 5x5, I do not recommend doing a 5x5 until at least 6 to 8 months worth of training. Right, like getting into a decent amount.
We didn't get to it till just to qualify that mark. We didn't get to it till
right. Yeah, we've been training for.
We just started it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
4 weeks ago.
Yeah, so at least into your first.
And we started this in March.
Right, so yeah, 4 or 5 months.
August.
Yeah, if you're doing it alone, right, the biggest thing is I wouldn't start it till I would say 6 to 8 months at minimum. But if you're with a trainer, you know that if you're with someone that knows what they're doing, that's when you can shorten the time frame.
I don't know how to close this episode except I have no idea what I just got myself into. But it's on the internet now, which is going to make it true regardless of how this turns out. Because everything's on the internet.
Everything on the internet's true.
So this is true. We're going to do it. We know what it's going to look like, how we're going to do it. We know when we're going to do it and why we're going to do it. And the rest of it, we'll just figure it along the way. Mm-hmm. Until then, don't forget to subscribe. You're probably not going to want to miss this because it could really go either way. But I promise you it'll be entertaining, if nothing else, and exhausting for me and hilarious for Ryan. So hit that subscribe button down below. We really appreciate the support. Got to start building my fan base now, right? So
don't worry.
I was just waiting to see if I heard the cricket again.
Oh.
But no cricket.
No.
As always, I'm at Steve Sansford.
I'm at Ryan from work.
Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Follow us on Twitter. We're at Structural Sense. A lot of activity over there. Daily tweets. Ryan's creating some newsfeed stuff for us. Also, check us out on Facebook at /Structural Sense Podcast. Can you believe somebody already had /Structural Sense on Facebook?
I know.
Irritated me.
I don't know.
All the other platforms, and we missed that one, but it's Facebook. Yeah. Facebook's the root of all evil. Don't use it. But if you do, /Structural Sense Podcast. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. And remember, the mind must be right or the body never will be. I don't know if you guys can hear the cricket, but I hope this video gets a better response than that guy's into.